In this video, I want to teach you how to shift a dirt bike. What's up, Rad family? I'm Dakota Freeman and welcome to the Rad Adventure Dude channel. This video is going to be very important on teaching you how to shift through your gears and really learn how to shift a dirt bike. So when we're learning how to shift a dirt bike, we need to be comfortable with three of the main controls. We need to know how to use our throttle, our clutch, and our gear shifter. These three controls are how we're going to shift the gears on our dirt bike in the proper way. So when we're first getting started on our dirt bike, we're going to have to use the throttle and the clutch to actually get the bike rolling before we even start shifting our gears. When we start our dirt bike, we're going to start it in neutral. We're then going to want to let the throttle off, pull in our clutch, and shift our dirt bike down into first gear. After we shift down into first gear, we can then begin to let the clutch out, and at a certain point as we're letting the clutch lever out, we're going to feel the bike want to start to roll into motion. At this point, when we begin to roll on our dirt bikes, we really want to add a little bit of throttle, and this is what's actually going to get the bike rolling into motion. As you applied a slight bit of throttle, once you hit that point of motion, you want to continue easing the clutch all the way out. You don't want to just hit that point of motion and then just let the clutch out. You want to slowly release it until it's completely released. Once you've completely released the clutch and you're on the throttle, you're now going to be rolling on your dirt bike. Don't feel like you have to hold the throttle on once you get rolling, as you can let it off and then reapply throttle when you're ready to accelerate more. You won't have to go through this process every single time you shift gears, only whenever you're first starting on your dirt bike. After that, you're already going to be rolling on your dirt bike, so you'll be able to just let the throttle off, pull in the clutch, and shift your gears whenever you need to. So whenever we want to learn how to shift a dirt bike, we're also going to need to learn how to move our feet from the pegs to the gear shifter and then back. We always want to ride on the balls of our feet, and this way we don't accidentally hit the gear shifter or the rear brake with our feet. We're then going to want to move our feet from the pegs up to shift the gears and then back to the pegs to where we ride on our dirt bike. This is going to be so important because we're going to have to get comfortable with being able to slide our feet forward, make our gear shift, and then put our feet back on the balls of our feet to continue riding. As you practice this over time, it's going to become very easy for you to be able to move your feet around and get them back to where you want them to be. So now, how do we want to shift a dirt bike whenever we're actually rolling on our bikes? Before we even shift a dirt bike, we really want to listen to the RPM level. The RPM level of the motor is going to signal to us when it's the proper time to shift our gears. As we're in a low gear, these gears are going to be built for more acceleration out of our dirt bikes and not really have the most top speed. And then our higher gears are going to have more top speed, but not quite have the acceleration like our lower gears. And this is why we're constantly going to always be going up and down through the gears to get in the proper gear range that we want to be in. So whenever we're getting ready to shift our dirt bike, we want to make sure that we let the throttle off and then pull in our clutch. Once we've pulled in the clutch, then we can make our gear shift with our gear shifter, using our left foot to either shift the gear shifter down or up into the next gear. Once we used our foot to shift into the next gear, we're then going to let the clutch back out and reapply throttle. Like I said before, we don't have to worry about letting the clutch out while we're applying throttle now that we're rolling on the dirt bikes, and all you have to do is once you've made your gear shift, let the clutch back out and reapply throttle. So make sure you work on this over time, as it's going to be very important to our dirt bike riding that we master how to shift a dirt bike, and the more you practice this over time, the more you're going to understand how the RPM level works and understanding when the proper time to shift your gears really is. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you hit that and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. The next part of this, I want to go over how to shift a dirt bike sitting down and how to shift a dirt bike standing up. The reason we want to be able to shift our dirt bike when we're sitting down and standing up is because when we're riding on the tracks and trails, we're constantly going to be having to shift up and down through the gears. Whether if you're in a corner and you need to shift down to get more acceleration, or if you're going down a straightaway standing up, you need to learn how to shift your gears standing up to get more top speed out of your dirt bike. The reason we need to practice shifting gears sitting down and standing up is because we need to be able to shift our gears whenever we need to. When we're sitting down on our dirt bike, it's going to be a little bit easier to go through and shift our gears, as we're going to be sitting on the bike and it's going to be easier for us to move our feet forward and back. So keep practicing shifting while you're sitting down, because you're constantly always going to have to be shifting on your dirt bike. When we're sitting down, we're going to have to go through all the same order of controls as we let the throttle off, pull our clutch in, and shift with our gear shifter. then let the clutch out and get back on the throttle when you're ready to. It's going to be more difficult to shift our gears when we're standing up, especially when we're learning. However, this is going to be a very important part of learning how to shift our gears, so we can shift up into the higher gears whenever we're standing up and going down a straightaway. When we're shifting a dirt bike while we're standing up, we're going to have to be standing with our right foot on the peg while we shift our left foot under the gear shifter to be able to shift our gears. So we're going to have to apply more weight to our right leg as we take our weight off our left leg to be able to get to the gear shifter before putting it back on the pegs. This is the reason why when we're learning how to shift our gears, we're not learning when we're standing up, because it's going to be a little bit more going on than sitting down. But I promise if you practice this over time, you're not even going to have to worry about it. You're going to be able to shift your dirt bike whenever you're sitting down or standing up. And that's when it's going to get easier for you out on the tracks and trails, because you're going to be able to shift your dirt bike when you're standing up or sitting down. Other things we need to do when shifting our dirt bike is going to be get comfortable with sitting and standing on the bike. We always want to make sure we're standing in a good attack position and that we have our knees bent, our knees are gripping the bike, our elbows are up, and our head is over the bars. This is going to be just to keep you in the right riding position even when we're shifting our dirt bikes. Did this video help you with shifting your dirt bike? Well, make sure you like this video and drop some comments down below and ask me any other questions that you have. If you're still looking for more dirt bike riding tips, I am always here. I've made a full dirt bike riding course over on my website that's going to take you from being a complete beginner and walk you through being an advanced rider, mastering the tracks and trails. Make sure you click the subscribe button that's right here and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. After that, you can watch my next video right here. Stay rad, and I'll see you over there.